And there we are. Hello, everyone. Time once again for Strat-O-Matic baseball. Hope everyone's had a good week. Thank you, Frank, and welcome, Franklin. I ordered the book. I have not received it yet. I ordered it from that thrift book website. Thrifty Books. Anyway, hope everyone's had a good week. I had a good week with Mookie. Headed out for North Bend. Could not get pet-friendly accommodations there, so we ended up at Ocean Shores. So Mookie got to go to the beach for the first time. He rode very well in the car and got on the sand the second day. The first day he wouldn't come out of the car at the beach. He was afraid, but he got out there the second day and really warmed up to it. I see So is here, Perry and Mike. Welcome, guys. We've got what should be a good game between two what you call second division teams at this point. Well, there's Mike. Hello, Mike. We've got the Reds at the Cubs. The Reds 10-16, the Cubs 10-15. This is the second of a short two-game series. Milt Pappas on the mound for Cincinnati. Ken Holtzman for Chicago. Now, Pappas, for those of you following this, know that he has the best strikeout to walk ratio in the game so far. 1-2 with a 3.41 earned run average, but in 34 1/3 innings, he has walked exactly one batter while striking out 19. So yes, obviously a 19-1 strikeout to walk ratio. It's way ahead of everybody else. Holtzman's 2-1 with a 2.59 ERA across 24 1/3 innings, in which he struck out 21. So two good pitchers on the mound today. And there's Ben as well. Ben has returned from the cribbage tournament. How did you do, Ben? Frank's wife not pleased with the situation. Yeah, I find them especially telling in real life, Ben. I mean, for me, that's probably the most telling stat of a pitcher's command, right? Or projecting future performance. As far as projecting who's going to be better in the future, if you're in a draft league or whatnot, I'll take strikeout to walk ratio over earned run average all day long. Caught up on some of my league play last night. The best book you guys will ever read. Wow, that's a high recommendation, Frank. I'm excited to get it, let me tell you that. Let me give you the Reds lineup. We'll get this game going while Mookie's still napping. For the Reds, Tommy Helms will lead off at third base. Pete Rose at second base in the 2 spot. Vada Pinson in right field hits third. Don Pavletic will do the catching and bat cleanup against the left-hander. Darren Johnson gets his first start at first base this season. He'll bat fifth. Day off for Tony Perez. He's available to pinch hit, however. Leo Cardenas at shortstop. Tommy Harper will be in center. Art Shamsky gets a start in left in the 8th spot. And Pappas, the pitcher, hits ninth. The Cubs defensively will have Chris Krug behind the plate today. Banks at first, Beckert and Kessinger up the middle. Ron Santo down at third with the outfield left to right of Altman. And get ready for this, his first start of the season starting in center is none other than Jimmy Stewart with Billy Williams in right. Well, good news and bad news there, I guess, Ben, right? Trying to find the silver lining in that one. Holtzman's ready to work now as Tommy Helms steps to the plate, and we are underway. Helms comes in with a .290 average, leading the team. 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. Holtzman, the lefty, into the windup. Here's the pitch to Helms. It's a 6-11 right-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and we are underway. Oh, knocking off some of the rust here after 4 days off. And here's Pete Rose now, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against Holtzman. Rose hitting .255, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Here's the pitch from Holtzman now. It's a 1-8 left-handed. Base hit into right field. Rose reaches out and strokes it the other way for a 1-out single. And welcome to Jeffrey. Jeffrey's here. Here's Veda Pinson now, left on left. Pinson hitting just .238 so far. 3 homers, however, and a team-leading 16 RBIs. Yeah, right? Holtzman from the stretch now. That's going to be a 4-7 left-handed. That's a grounder to second. Beckert has it. Flips to Kessinger for 1. On to Banks for 2. Double play. 4-6-3. Side retired. No runs a hit. Nobody left. We've played half an inning. Cincinnati nothing. Chicago coming to bat. I don't care for those uniforms either, Franklin. I'm one of those. I liked it better when they wore their own uniforms, although even some of those are somewhat questionable these days. Here's the Cubs lineup. None other than Jimmy Stewart will lead off in center field. Glenn Beckert at second base hits in the 2 spot. Billy Williams in his customary 3 spot in right field today. Ron Santo bats cleanup and plays third. George Altman will be in left field, hitting 5th. Ernie Banks at first. Chris Krug, a computer-only card, will do the catching and hit 7th. Kessinger, the shortstop, 8th, and Holtzman will bat 9th. Cincinnati defensively will have Pavletic doing the catching. Darren Johnson at first. Rose and Cardenas up the middle. Tommy Helms down at third, and the outfield left to right of Shamsky, Harper, and Pinson. What's the over-under on walks by Pappas this game? Just kidding. Pappas ready to work as Jimmy Stewart steps in. Stewart 0 for 7 so far in the season, all as a pinch hitter. Switch hitter batting left-handed. Here's the pitch from Pappas now. On a 4-10 left-handed, he flies it into left field. That's going to be playable for Shamsky. And there's 1 down. Here's Beckert now. Beckert leads the club in batting at .345. No homers, 7 RBIs. The pitch from Pappas. Going to be a 4-4 right-handed. It's a grounder to shortstop X. Tough play for Cardenas. Cardenas, a fine shortstop, 2E16 as he ranges behind the bag. And here's the play on a 15. He's there. Scoops it up and throws him out. Nice play, Cardenas. So Becker's retired, 6-3X. And here's Billy Williams now. Yes, he is, Mike. Williams hitting .260, 5 homers and 17 RBIs. Pappas comes in there now with a 2-5 base hit into center field for Billy Williams. So a 2-out single for Billy. Let's check the battery now. Pappas with a great hold, -3. Pavletic, however, a +2 arm. That's a total of -1. That would make Williams a 12, and he's not an asterisk, so he'll be staying put. Ron Santo will be the batter with 2 down. Santo hitting .326, 4 home runs, and a team-leading 19 runs batted in. Pappas checks the runner now, and from the stretch, comes into Santo on a 1-3, base hit into left field. It's an open single. Williams to third, 14. -2 for left field, canceled out with a +2 for 2 outs. Shamsky a 0, 1 through 14 to make the last out at third. They will put the brakes on. He'll hold at second base on the base hit by Santos. So the Cubs have first and second, 2 down, and George Altman will get a crack at it here. I'm trying to find Altman. There he is. Oh my God, no wonder I couldn't find him. He's down near the bottom. He's 4 for 39, gentlemen. That's 103. No homers, 3 RBIs. Pappas into the windup now. Pitch to Altman on a 4-9. Base hit into center field. That's an open single. Williams can try to score on that. He's a 14 with 2 outs, 16. Harper a +1, 17. Here he comes. The throw to the plate. He scores. Williams is safe. Sano goes into third on the throw. Altman will round and hold at first. That's an RBI single for George Altman. Just his 4th hit of the season. And it's a big one as it puts the Cubs on top 1-0. Boy, he was overdue, Mike. You bet. Oh, my goodness. Not a bad card, at least against right-handers. Here's Mr. Cub now, Ernie Banks. Ernie hitting just .211 so far. A pair of homers, 9 RBIs. Runners at the corners, 2 down. Pappas out of the stretch. 5-7 right-handed. That is a double to 12. On a 13, he'll settle for a long single. Drives in another run with 2 stars. Altman will take third. So RBI single for Ernie Banks makes it 2-0 Chicago. And Pappas has surrendered 4 consecutive hits now. A 2-out rally here for the Cubs in the bottom of the first. And here's Krug now. Not much on Krug's card. Krug played at least 1 game. He is 3 for 10 on the season. No homers, 1 RBI. Right-handed catcher. The pitch from Pappas is a 6-6 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes Krug, and that will end the inning. Cubs score 2 on 4 hits. Leave a pair. We played an inning, and the Cubs lead it 2-0. Yes, putting Altman and Krug in the lineup there. DeRocher playing the percentages, playing the hunches perhaps. Whatever he's doing, you know he's doing it with conviction. Down there is Rick. Oh, that's hilarious, Rick, and I agree. It's way past time for a new commissioner, isn't it? Who's still in the majors, Franklin? Gerald's here, and he's for the Cubs. Well, the Cubs scored 2 quick runs for you there, Gerald. Moving along to the second. Don Pavletic will lead things off for the Reds, hitting just .214 so far. A pair of homers, 4 RBIs. The big left-hander gets the sign from Krug now, and here's the pitch. That's going to be a 2-4 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to left field. That's going to get down, bounces off the wall, rolling away from Altman, and there goes Pavletic, rounding second into third with a leadoff triple. And who had the second inning for the triples lottery today? Franklin? Anyone? Let's look at that roll again. On a 2-4, he would have homered 1-15. On an 18, it is a leadoff triple for the 1 through 9 running Pavletic. And that'll bring up Darren Johnson. DJ hitting .241. Leads the club in homers with 5 and has 13 RBIs now. The 2-run lead and early in the game, they'll play it back, trying to stay out of the big inning here. Holtzman checks the runner. Now the full windup. Pitch to Johnson is a 6-11 right-handed. Swung on and missed, strike 3. That's a big strikeout for Holtzman, his second of the game. And here is Cardenas. Leo Cardenas hitting .217. 4 home runs, however, and 13 RBIs, both among the leaders among shortstops. Infield back. The pitch to Cardenas. 2-9 left-handed. That is a run-scoring single into center field. Pavletic can walk home, and it's a 2-1 ball game. So Cardenas comes through with the RBI single. He's a star 16 stealer. Let's check the Cub battery now. Holtzman with a good hold, -3. Krug is 0, so that would make Cardenas a 13 not held. Now he's the tying run, so they're going to hold him on, make him an 11. Tommy Harper due up next. Harper off to a very slow start this season, just 8 for 70. That's 114 average. He does not have an RBI yet, despite what appears to be a very nice card. This is one of the more perplexing players so far. Full-time player, 278, 349 on base, 363 slugging isn't great, but he had 32 extra base hits. Harper's still trying to get it going, get his season on track here. Cardenas held at first with 1 down. Holtzman out of the stretch. The pitch to Harper is a 5-6 right-handed. Struck him out. So Harper's struggles continue. 3rd K of the game for Holtzman. And the batter will be Shamsky. An interesting lineup selection against the left-handed Holtzman. Shamsky hitting just 176 on the season so far. He does have 2 home runs. 6 for 39. 6 for 34. Half of his hits for extra bases, a double and 2 home runs. Left on left now. 3-8 left-handed. He pops him up right side. Banks. That'll do it. The Reds score a run on 2 hits and leave 1. And we've got a 2-1 ball game as we move to the bottom of the 2nd. And welcome to Jester. Jester's here. That was a question, Steve, talking about Altman. Oh my God, that's funny, Frank. Is that in the book too? I can't wait to get the book. We're heading to the bottom of the 2nd here in a 2-1 ball game. Don Kessinger will start things off for the Cubs. Kessinger hitting .271 so far. Does not have a home run, not surprisingly. Pappas gets the sign from Pavletic. They wind up the pitch. 2-9 right-handed is a ground ball wide of second. Rose has it, throws him out, and there's 1 down. Here's Holtzman now. Holtzman, a right-handed batter, 1W. Here comes the pitch from Pappas on a 6-7. That's a grounder to second base X. That's going to be Rose. 2E17. Rose ranges behind the bag. Now here's the play on a 13. He's got it. Throws him out. Nice play, Pete Rose. So 2 grounders to Rose this inning and 2 down. Jimmy Stewart will come to bat for the 2nd time. It just might be, Frank. Here's Jimmy with 2 down, batting left-handed. Gibson Pappas 3-4, pops him up. Rose will take them all this inning. He's got it, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Milt Pappas, who now has worked 36 in the third innings and only issued one, count 'em, one walk. This is becoming quite a story. We move along to the third in a 2-1 ball game with Milt Pappas leading off for the Cubs. Pappas, a right-handed batter, he does have end power, however. Holtzman gets the side from Krug now. On a 4-4 right-handed, he loses him. Oh my, Holtzman, the unforgivable sin of walking the opposing pitcher, particularly to lead off an inning. So Pappas is aboard, representing the tying run, and here's Tommy Helms. Tommy struck out his first time against Holtzman. Krug flashing some signs, Holtzman out of the stretch. Tommy Helms, 6-11, swung on and missed, strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Ken Holtzman. And the batter will be Rose. Rose singled his first time up. Was erased on the double play, batting right-handed against Holtzman. The pitch out of the stretch is a 6-12. Fly ball to left field X. That's going to be the first chance for Altman. Altman, a 4-13 out there. Tough play for George. Here's the play on a 16. He makes a fine running catch for the out. However, he had to go so far and so deep that Milt Pappas tags up and moves into second. Boy, you don't see that very often. A pitcher tagging up on a deep fly ball from first base and moving into second. But it happened here today. That puts him in scoring position with 2 down for Veda Pinson, probably the best player on the Cincinnati team. Grounded into a double play his first time up. Left on left. Holtzman comes in there 2-5, single, but on a 1-star single, Pappas will have to hold at third. So maybe a slight break for the Cubs on that one. Single with 1-star, runner has to hold. Pinson, a star 15 stealer. -2. He'd be a 13 not held. They're going to not hold him. The Cubs don't think he'll steal with 2 down at 65%, and they would be right. He will not. Instead, Pavletic, who tripled his first time up, will try to pick up that runner on third. Holtzman's studying the runners now. Gets the side. The pitch to Pavletic's a 5-6. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 5th strikeout for Holtzman, and that was a big one. Runners at the corners. He whiffs Pavletic, and the Reds strand a pair. No runs on 1 hit, 2 left. A little slower pace for me today as I get back into the swing of things. 9-hour drive yesterday. It should have been 7. The extra 2 hours caused by road construction. Kind of forgot about that when I bailed out of here. There's 2 seasons in Washington, winter and road construction. Or road destruction, as an old friend of a friend used to say. Pappas ready to go to work in the bottom of the inning now. He'll be looking at Beckert, Williams, and Santo. Beckert 0 for 1. Pappas comes in there with a 3-12 right-handed liner into the glove of Helms. So a line drive right at the third baseman for out number 1. And up steps Billy Williams. Hall of Famer Billy Williams, if you please. Singled and scored his first time up today. Williams, who got off to a very slow start in this replay, has been coming on strong of late. Pappas gets the sign, the windup, the pitch to Billy. 5-4 left-handed, a grounder to third base X. It's a hot shot for Helms. 2E19 down there. Dives towards the line, and here's the play. He's got it. Nice stop, and throws him out. Fine play by Helms, 5-3X. So 2 balls hit down to third base, 2 away, and Ron Sano will be the batter. Sano singled his first time up. Pappas into the windup now. That's going to be a 5-8 right-hander. A grounder into the hole. Cardenas there to plug it up. Plants and throws in time. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Pappas, who's now retired 7 consecutively. We're through 3. Cubs 2, Reds 1. Oh, I'll tell you, Mike, I started out to go to North Bend, and it didn't work out. So I ended up staying at the only place I could find to take a cat that night was the Motel 6 in Issaquah. And I thought, well, hell, I don't want to stay more than one night at a Motel 6. So we went on to Ocean Shores. Stayed there a couple of nights, and Mookie got out on the beach. And there's a game coming up here from Jeffrey. It's the Dodgers and the Giants. Dodgers and the Giants in the 50s and 60s especially. Can't miss baseball. So yeah, I probably should have broken that up into 2 days, but I didn't want to spend any more money on another hotel night, so I just made up my mind I was going to power it back in one day. I could say it wouldn't have been so bad if not for all the delays. Oh, he was fantastic in the car. I've been training him for this, some of you guys may know, and boy, he exceeded all my expectations. We move along to the 4th inning here. Darren Johnson to lead it off for Cincinnati. He struck out his first time against Holtzman, one of 5 Ks for Kenny today. Here's the pitch to DJ on a 5-2. It's a high fly ball to deep left field. Altman going back now on the track makes the catch. Homer 1-4, the roll of 15. It's a loud out for DJ. That's what I told him, Frank. I said, look, Moogie, it's a giant litter box surrounded by water. Cardenas singled in a run, the only Cincinnati run of the game so far in his first time up. Holtzman into the windup. That's going to be a 5-4 to the righty. That's catcher's card X. That'll be Krug, a 4E8. Here's the roll on the play. On a 13, it is a pass ball. No pass ball. There's no runner on. It's a pop out to the catcher. 2X, 2 down. And Tommy Harper will be the hitter. Well, you absolutely can train a cat, Rick. Absolutely can. There's several books on the subject. I have a DVD called Kitty Kindergarten. It explains a lot of technique. So he's learned to walk on a leash and harness. He's learned to ride in the car without a carrier. He has 2 beds in the car. one that suction cups to the side window and another that sits on the console between the two front seats. But you've got to do it young. I'll say that. You have to do it young. If you don't do it when they're a kitten, I'm not saying it's impossible, but the odds are against you. Most of what they need to learn got to happen in the first 3 months. So here's Harper with 2 away. Tommy struck out his first time against Holtzman. Holtzman won and deals on a 1-7 lefty. Swung on and missed strike 3. Harper goes down fishing for the second time today. That's 6 Ks for Holtzman now, and a 1-2-3 inning for Kenny. And it's still a 2-1 pitcher's duel as we go to the bottom of the 4th. So this game so far, living up to its advanced billing. It'll be Altman, Banks, and Krug for the Cubs in the bottom of the inning. Altman with a big RBI single his first time up. Maybe coming out of his season-long slump now. Pappas delivers a 6-7 grounder to second base X. That's for Rose. 2E17. Rose ranging behind the bag, and here's the play. On a 12, that will be the error range. It's a 2. On an E17, white die 1 through 5 is going to be an error. So Rose boots it on a white die roll of a 2. And Altman's aboard to lead things off. So E4. First error of the ball game. Altman not a threat to run. And here's Ernie Banks. Banks with an RBI single his first time out. Pappas checks the runner. Now from the stretch. Comes in there with a 6-7 right-handed. It's a grounder to second base X. That's Rose. It could be 2. 2E17. Here's the play on a 14. He's got it. His only play is to first. And Altman takes second on the play. So 4-3X. Banks retired. Altman moves into scoring position with 1 down, and Chris Krug will be the batter. For Krug, just his 12th at bat of the season. Obviously didn't play very much. Computer-only card. Pappas with the windup on the pitch. 2-7. Fly ball into center. That's a can of corn for Harper, who puts it away for out number 2. Kessinger with 2 down, trying to pick up the runner at second. Pappas gets the sign now. Here's the pitch. 4-3 lefty. Fly to right field X. That's Pinson. Pinson 2. Rather high on the error range with a 14. So a 2E14 for Pinson as he races towards the line. And here's the play. It's going to be the error rating, and it's that dreaded 5 on a 14. And we know what that means. It's a 2-base error on Pinson, and the Cubs score another run. So E9. Altman comes in to score. 2 errors in the inning lead to an unearned run. And Holtzman will be the hitter. Pavletic's going out to the mound now, probably to settle Pappas down a little bit. Pappas deserved a better fade here today. Kind of feels like things are unraveling on him a bit, and Pavletic trying to settle him down. Okay, they're ready to work now. Holtzman, a left-handed pitcher, but a right-handed batter. And here's the pitch on a 1-5. Struck him out. And that will do it for the Cubs. They add 1 on. An unearned run for the sake of Pappas's record. And through 4 innings complete, it's 3-1 Chicago. Boy, you're not kidding, guys. I have not seen a newspaper. I miss newspapers. I was on vacation a couple of years ago in California, and I bought a copy of the Sunday Times. I thought, oh, this will be fun. I can look at all the batting averages like I did in the old days, right? Hell, they don't even print them anymore. And I think the paper was like $4 or something ridiculous. It might have been $5. It was a lot for a paper. Let's call it $4. And I said to myself, boy, that was a waste of $4. And they're smaller and thinner than they used to be. Pete is better if he did that, yeah. Not a fan of the flying. I'll do it if I have to. Shamsky, Pappas, and Helms due here in the 5th. Shamsky 0 for 1, left on left here. Holtzman comes in there with a 2-7. It's a fly ball into center field. Stewart drifting back and makes the grab for the first out. Early in a close game, I want to go ahead and let Pappas stay in the game. He's going to hit here. He has end power. That's a 4-11, and he's got himself a base hit into left field. How about that? A solidly stroked single. So Pappas with a walk and a single to his credit today. One down, runner at first. Tommy Helms has struck out both times today. Holtzman from the stretch comes in there with a 6-8 right-handed and loses him. Ball 4. Reds threatening in the 5th. Pappas down to second. A 1-out walk to Helms. Tying runs are aboard, and here's Pete Rose with Veda Pinson on deck. Rose 1 for 2, batting right-handed. Holtzman out of the stretch now. Comes in there with a 3-3 lefty. Grounded to first base. Banks wide of the bag. Has the play. His only play is to Holtzman covering, and both runners will advance. So Rose a grounder to first. That moves the runners up to second and third with 2 outs, and Veda Pinson the hitter. Momentary thoughts of putting him on, but you've got the right-handed Pavletic on deck who's already tripled today. They'll pitch to Pinson. Holtzman checks the runners. Now the full windup. Pitch to Veda, 2-7 left-handed fly ball into right field. Billy Williams drifting back a bit, and he'll take it to retire the side. So no runs a hit. They leave a pair. In fact, they leave the tying runs in scoring position. Bottom of the 5th, 3-1 Chicago. Pappas allowed to bat for himself. Always interesting how this plays out. How many times have you let a pitcher hit only to see him unravel the following inning? Pappas, as usual, no walks today, running his streak now to 38 in the 3rd innings with only 1 base on balls issued this season. And here's at the top of the order with Jimmy Stewart to start things off. Jimmy 0 for 2. Pappas comes in there with a 1-7, and he loses him. A leadoff walk to Stewart. Stewart a star 15 stealer. Pappas again a -3. Pavletic a +2. So that would make him a 14 not held. He'll be held on, which will make him a 1 through 12. And here's Beckert now. Classic bunting situation, but how do you bunt with a guy who came into the game hitting .345? Beckert will swing away. Pappas out of the stretch, comes in there with a 6-7, a grounder to second base X. That's Rose again. This could be 2E17. The roll on the play is a 17. Rose has it to Cardenas, to Johnson. Double play. Fine play by Rose. 4, 6, 3, X. Runner is erased. With 2 down and nobody on, Billy Williams will come to bat. And thank you, Ben, for the update. Oh, God, Mike, I've been saying it for a long time now. Since the very first week I did the stats update and noticed how far, I think he was 12-1 at that point, and the next best was like 3.6-1 or something like that. Under the league leaders, it has the strikeout to walk ratio, one of the categories, and Pappas stood out even then. So nothing I've been able to say even has been able to jinx the guy. I know now I'm really pushing the faith, right? Nothing can stop the streak. Here's the pitch to Billy Williams. 6-2 left-handed. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Backing up his Pinson at the track, at the wall. It's gone. Billy Williams with a 2-out blast. Let's take another look at that one. 6-2 left-handed, 1-15. The roll is a 2. And for Billy Williams, that's his 6th home run of the season. That makes the score 4-1 Cubs, and here's Santa. So we got a couple people happy at least. Gerald for 1. Santa 1 for 2. Pappas comes in there with a 6-7 right-handed. It's a grounder to second base X. Boy, Rose really being tested on the X chart today. 2-17. Here's the play on a 20. He's there and throws him out. 4-3 X retires the side, but the Cubs add 1 on the Billy Williams blast. We've played 5. It's 4-1 Cubs. Speaking of the beach trip, I gotta tell you guys, if I had any money, oh my God, I would have stayed over there through the whole weekend. I could have missed this whole 100-degree heat wave here in Spokane. To catch up, so I think I mentioned this before, but the reason I left was because they were asphalting and striping the entire parking lot, and we had 224 units that were supposed to park on the street. Well, okay, the street's it's nothing. There's no way. There's no way. I would end up parking in the Safeway parking lot and walking at least a quarter of a mile in 100-degree weather. So I wasn't about to do that. And I don't feel that comfortable leaving my car in the Safeway parking lot to begin with, even if it wasn't hot. So that's why we booked. Would have loved to stay over there, though. To the 6th we go. Pavletic, Johnson, and Cardenas due up for Cincinnati. Pavletic, a triple and a strikeout. Holtzman getting the sign from Krugman. That's going to be a 5-7 right-hander. A triple on a 1. That's going to be a playable ball in center for Jimmy Stewart, who makes the catch. Here's Johnson now, 0 for 2 today. And we got a dice down, got it. As Johnson fouls one off, Holtzman gets a new ball. Into the windup. Pitch to Johnson, a 6-9. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Number 6 for Holtzman. Sorry, 7. Strikeout number 7 for Holtzman. 2 down, and here's Cardenas. Cardenas 1 for 2. Holtzman comes set. The windup and the pitch. 6-4 right-handed. Shallow fly into left field. Here comes Altman coming on, and he's there to catch up with it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Holtzman. So Holtzman cruising along now. Holtzman has good stuff today, as witnessed by as evidenced, I should say, by the 7 strikeouts. He's allowed 5 hits, 4 of them singles. Pappas is also allowed just 5 hits, 4 of them bunched together in the first inning, and there was, of course, the home run by Billy Williams. Pappas getting ready to go to work here in the bottom of the inning. Altman will lead it off. Pappas into the windup. Here's the pitch to Altman now. It's a 5'9" left-hander. It's a lazy fly ball into right field. Pinson barely has to move and takes it for out number 1. Here's Mr. Cub now, 1 for 2 today. RBI single back in the first. Pavletic flashing the signs. The pitch from Pappas, a 5-5 right-handed. He pops him up. Cardenas calling for it. And he puts it away for the second out. I'll bring up the catcher, Krug. Krug 0 for 2. Pappas into the windup. The pitch to Krug, a 2-6 right-handed. Swung on and missed, strike 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Pappas. And we're through 6 innings in a 4-1 game. Anyone have any exciting plans for the weekend? Something different? I'll visit my mom tomorrow as usual. Other than that, I plan to stay cool. As Sunday, we're supposed to have a date record. Rather, a record for that date in history, which would be, what, the 22nd? No, the 21st. 108 degrees they're expecting. That might be the hottest day, period, I've ever seen since I've lived here. And I've been here since 1989. So, yeah, a record heat wave here in Spokane. And Mike's down in Florida. You could drop in on Franklin while you're there, Mike. Maybe not. Depends what part you're in, I suppose. It's a big state. Jeffrey's there, too. I think somebody else is in Florida. I beg your pardon. I can't remember who it is. Yeah, right. Whoa, Frank with a 15-inning marathon, and the Giants finally pull it out. My cousin and his girlfriend will be visiting here from Sarasota, Florida. They're coming in on the 30th or the 31st of this month. And Ben is in, God, I'm going to get this wrong again, Ben. North Dakota? Did I finally get it? Fingers crossed here. Gerald doing the 67 season. That was a great race. One that a good friend of mine remembers well. I wish I did, but I can't say that I do. As we slide into the top of the 7th, it'll be the bottom third of the order for the Reds as they try to get something going here against Holtzman. Harper, Shamsky, and the pitcher's spot due up. Harper struck out both times against Holtzman. The windup and the pitch is a 5-3 right-handed. It's a grounder to the pitcher X. Holtzman a 2E26. And here's the play. On a 13 error rating, it's a 7. On a 26, and Holtzman can't handle it. That's an error, Holtzman. And Harper reaches to lead off the 7th. So another pitcher error. First error for Chicago. And Harper with wheels to burn here. A star 18 stealer. The battery of -3 makes him a 15. They're going to hold him on and make him a 13. Leading by 4. And trailing by 3, he probably won't try it. Shamsky will be the batter. Art is 0 for 2 today. Left on left. Holtzman working out of the stretch now. Comes in there on a 6-4. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Number 8 for Holtzman. He's got the K pitch working today, and now the Reds will send up a pinch hitter for Pappas. So Pappas, 6 innings. Oh, there he walked one in the 5th. See, I missed it. His second walk. So you're right, I did jinx him. Finally. On my 17th attempt, I finally jinxed him. Pappas allowed just 5 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. Walked the 1, which is newsworthy for Pappas, just his second walk issued in the season. He's now worked 40 1/3 innings. Looks like he just struck out 3. Looking ahead at the Cubs lineup. They're going to get Ted Davidson, the left-hander, throwing. And with a runner on first and 1 down against Holtzman, the batter is going to be Tony Perez. So the youngster, Tony Perez, comes off the bench here to bat for Pappas. Perez hitting just .197 on the season, 1 homer, 4 RBIs. Holtzman in his first inning of potential fatigue. From the stretch, Tony is a 6'6" right-handed. That's a double to 17. That is down for extra bases. They're going to hold Harper up at third, playing it very conservatively here, trailing by 3. And Perez in with the stand-up double. So the Reds threatening here. 2nd and 3rd, 1 down. Top of the order coming up. Action now in the Cub bullpen as Fergie Jenkins begins to toss. The Cubs will play it back, leading by 3. Tommy Helms at the plate. Pete Rose on deck. Helms 0 for 2 with the walk. Holtzman checks the runner. Now the pitch. 2-6 left-handed. A fly ball to center field. B question mark. That's to Stewart. Harper can tag up on that. He's a 17 with 2 outs, 19. Stewart a +1. Well, the most he can be is 19. Here he comes. He scores. Sack fly. And Harper crosses the plate with an unearned run, making it a 4-2 ball game. So Perez still standing at second base with 2 down, and Pete Rose will be the hitter. Is that for me, Mike? What rules am I playing? Rose 1 for 3, batting right-handed. Holtzman with the pitch. 4-9 right-hander is a grounder to shortstop X. That's going to be a tough play for Kessinger. A 2E40 as he ranges into the hole. Here's the play on an 18. He's there, plants and throws in time. Fine play by Kessinger to retire the side. So 6-3X, side retired. The Reds get a run on one hit and leave a man. And that will be an unearned run as far as Holtzman's record is concerned. And it is a 4-2 ball game. I feel the same way, Perry. Second and third, one out. It felt like that was their chance to climb back into this one, but they were unable to do so. Lefty Ted Davidson will come on now to pitch for Cincinnati. Davidson, real life, 3.90 across 85 innings of work. He had 4 saves. Looks like a little bit of a backwards card. Let's check his stats so far in the replay. He's been in 9 games, 2-0, but with a very high 7.62 ERA across 13 innings of work. And he'll be facing Kessinger, the pitcher's spot, and Stewart. And that'll probably be all for Stewart, who's a terrible 40-15 in center. So Davidson ready to go to work now. Kessinger 0 for 2. The lefty winds and deals on a 3-6. It's a 2-hopper down to third. Helms has it, throws him out. And they're going to go ahead and let Holtzman bat. Right-handed hitter. And here's the pitch. It's a 5-8. Ripped over the bag down the third base line. Oh my goodness, that's going to be extra bases for Holtzman. Shamsky gets it back in, and Holtzman will hold with a double. So Holtzman doing it all today. Runner at second and 1 out. Jimmy Stewart will be the hitter. Jimmy will turn around and bat right-handed against Davidson. And here comes the pitch on a 5-3 righty. It's a grounder to first base X. That's for Johnson. He's a 3E16. And here's the play. On an 18, he's got it. Let me check this one to be absolutely certain. We've got a ground ball B. Runner on second, not held. 6 to first or second, runners advance, so the runner will take third on that. So what the hell was the play? First base X, so that'll go 3-1 X. C, advancing Holtzman to third. 2 down, and Glenn Beckert will try to pick him up. Beckert 0 for 3 today. Came into the game hitting .345. Davidson checks the runner. Now comes to the plate. 1-6. Base hit to right field. And the Cubs add on another run. It's an RBI single for Beckert. Holtzman will cross the plate. And it's 5-1. As the Cubs start putting this one out of reach. Oh, it's not out of reach yet, but it's certainly looking that way. As Billy Williams comes to bat. 2 hits for Billy today, including a home run. Left on left now. Davidson set, comes in there with a 2-6. Base hit into left field, an open single. Beckert's going to play it conservatively and hold up, not wanting to make the final out at third base. Third hit of the inning against Davidson. Ron Sano steps to the plate. Sano 1 for 3 today. Davidson checks the runners. 4-4 right-handed is a fly to center field X. That's Harper, a 3-E2. Harper on his horse now, going back, still going back. Error range 11 on an E2, and he can't handle it. It's off of his glove for a 2-base error. That'll score Beckert. Williams will stop at third. That makes it 6-1. Third error for Cincinnati. I forgot to mark one of them, but that's 3. And here's Altman now. 2-5, struck him out. So Davidson slams the door after the horse already left the barn. 2 insurance runs for the Cubs on 3 hits, and they leave a pair. We're through 7 innings. It's 6-1 Cubs. Sorry, 6-2 Cubs. I beg your pardon. 6-2 Cubs. Yes, Perry. Quite a few errors in this game off of good fielders. And the Cubs will... See, we were going to take out Stewart, weren't we? Ty Klein will come in and take over in center. Two E10 plus 1. Klein hasn't had much opportunity to play this season, so we'll let him play defense for a couple of innings. And Holtzman now eyeing that complete game. He's rated 7 for endurance. Only gave up 1 hit in his first endurance inning. And he'll be facing the heart of the Cincinnati order here in the 8th. Pinson, Pavletic, and Darren Johnson. Pinson 1 for 3 today. Holtzman gets his sign now, the windup. Pitch to Veda Pinson, a 3-7 left-handed base hit up the middle. It's a leadoff single for Pinson, his second hit of the afternoon. Star 15 Steeler. Let's check that battery again. 3. He'd be a 12 not held, so they'll go ahead and elect to not hold him on. And here's Pavletic, 1 for 3. Tripled and scored back in the second. Holtzman now working out of the stretch. Comes in there 4-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. And that is what, 8 now? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 Ks for Holtzman. And Darren Johnson will be the hitter with 1 down. Johnson 0 for 3. He struck out twice against Holtzman so far. Yes, little John Fogerty. Holtzman from the stretch comes into Johnson, 1-12, grounder down to third. It's Santo, 2 Beckert, 2 Banks, double play. And for the Reds, pretty much all over but the crying. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left. Four-run lead for the Cubs. Davidson will come out for his second inning of work. Excuse me. Holy cow, what's going on there? I was going to look at somebody else up at the Cincinnati pen. Jack Balshin, the right-hander, throwing for the Reds. As Banks steps to the plate here at the bottom of the 8th. Banks 1 for 3 today. Davidson getting his sign now from Pavletic. Here's the windup. Here's the pitch to Ernie. It's a 5-6 fly ball into center. That's playable for Harper. He'll take it for out number 1. Here's Krug now, facing a lefty for the first time. Davidson comes in there 4-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Krug with the hat trick strikes out 3 times today. And that'll bring up Kessinger. Kessinger 0 for 3. Batting right-handed against Davidson. Here's the pitch. 2-3 lefty. Foul ball behind the plate. Pavletic goes back. He's got it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Davidson. So we've completed 8 innings here at Wrigley Field, Chicago, and the Cubs lead it 6-2. Holtzman going for it. Cardenas, Harper, possibly Shamsky, possibly a pinch hitter for Shamsky, standing in his way. Leo Cardenas will lead it off. He's 1 for 3. Holtzman gets the sign from Krug now. Pitch to Cardenas, 6-2 right-handed with a fly ball to left field X. That's Altman, a 4E13. Tough play for George on a 3. He's not going to get that. That's a base hit. Cardenas with a leadoff single off the X chart. Star 16 Steeler. -3 battery, 13. Not held. And Tommy Harper's the batter. Harper in a season-long slump. 0 for 3 today. Fanned twice. Holtzman out of the stretch. Pitch to Harper. 4-10 right-handed. That's a grounder to short X. That could be 2. That's Kessinger, a 2E40. Kessinger ranges behind the bag. Error range, E40. The roll is a 9, and he boots it. Error Kessinger, and now it's getting interesting. Second error for the Cubs. 5th error in a somewhat sloppy ball game. All pretty good fielders, too. Let's see what the Reds have on the bench. Do they have a right-handed batter? Well, they're going to need 2 of them, actually, because the pitcher's spot is due up next. Jimmy Coker is going to come on and hit for Shamsky. I don't remember ever saying that name before. Let's see if he's played. He's been in 2 games, has no at-bats. He did walk once. He must have come in to catch. Anyway, no official at-bat yet. 1 plate appearance, and he drew a walk. Right-handed hitter. First and second, nobody out. And now, Krug's going out to the mound to talk to Holtzman. Meanwhile, Jenkins has been ready for some time, and the closer, Ted Abernathy, throwing down there as well. Okay, we're set. Jimmy Coker batting for the Reds. Holtzman gets the sign. Pitch to Coker, a 3-10 left-handed. He pops him up. Infield fly rule as Santo calls for it and puts it away for the first out. So Coker is retired. Now we'll have another pinch hitter, this time for Davidson. Only one good choice, really, at this point, and that's Dick Simpson. Simpson, a right-handed batter. Simpson, 1 for 2 on the season so far. Hasn't played much. Holtzman facing Simpson now. First and second, 1 down. From the stretch, the pitch to Dick is a 2-6 left-handed, swung on and missed. Strike 3. Strikeout number 10 for Ken Holtzman. And the Reds are down to their last out. It'll be Helms. I want to thank everybody for watching today. Hit that like button for me on the way out. That helps the channel. I'll be back with you on Sunday, of course. No game tomorrow. Cubs lead this one 6-2. The Reds have put 2 on, but there's 2 outs in the 9th. And here's Helms. Tommy 0 for 2 today. Holtzman studying the signs. Now the pitch to Helms on a 4-9 right-handed as a grounder to shortstop X. It's another chance for Kessinger. 2E40. Here's the play. He's got it. Throws him out, and that's the game. Nice play, Kessinger, to redeem himself for that error. No runs to hit, 2 left. 6-2, the final score. I'll have the totals for you in just a moment. Are you having something in that Pepsi, Ben? I can't say I blame you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Franklin. For Holtzman in his complete game victory, he improves to 3-1. He allowed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. 2 runs, just 1 earned. He also doubled and scored, putting him in, at least in contention for player of the game. He walked a pair, struck out 10. Billy Williams could be in there. 3 hits, including a home run. But I'm inclined to go with Holtzman for player of the game in this one. Davidson, in his 2 innings, gave up 3 hits and a run. Sorry, 3 hits and 2 runs. Let's see here. You had an out, double, single for 1 run. The error, the second run was unearned. For Davidson, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Pappas takes the loss. He drops to 1-3. Totals on the game for the Cubs: 6 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. For the Reds, 2 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors. And there were 3 unearned runs in total scored in this game. Kind of a sloppy game defensively, but a good game. Franklin concurs on the Holtzman player of the game choice. It will be Holtzman. Whoops, wrong color there. Sunday we got a doubleheader. I might play it as a doubleheader. One thing's for sure, I'm not going out on Sunday. Anyway, it'll be the Baltimore Orioles at the Cleveland Indians. Game 1 will have John Miller on the mound for the Orioles, Gary Bell pitching for the Indians. So please join me on Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. Meanwhile, I want to wish everybody a fantastic weekend. Thanks for coming in. Good to be back. Felt a little rusty at times, but it's good to be back on the horse. Take care, everybody. Have a great evening and a great weekend. Bye for now.